Edition of RamChat. My name is Terrence Bishop. I'm a senior double majoring in biomedical engineering and chemical engineering, and I'm originally from Aurora, Colorado. We're really excited to be here today with you all. We're going to have an opportunity to share our CSU story and let you know what it's like to be a student every day on campus. As a reminder, if you get any questions during the session, you can submit them online at admissions.colostate.edu/ramchat, or you can also just submit questions via social media by using the hashtag RamChat. We would love to hear your questions, and anything that you ask us, we're going to do our best to address, whether in this video or following up after. So please give us your questions so that we can, answer them appropriately. So I'm going to introduce myself, and then we'll take a chance to introduce our other ambassadors that we have with us today. So as I said, my name is Terrence Bishop. I'm a senior from Aurora, Colorado, which is obviously Colorado. Sorry. Double majoring in biomedical engineering and chemical engineering, and I'm involved in a couple different things on campus. One of my favorites being involved in the Greek life system that we have on campus. But quickly, before I tell you all about what I'm doing now, I want to take you back to 2012 when young Terrence was trying to figure out what he wanted to do for college and what was going to be important to him. And I narrowed it down for me. There was three main things that I found really important when I was looking at colleges, and I call them the three Fs: fit, function, and fun. So first fit was, I looked at that as, does the college campus kind of fit me as a person? And that's CSU to me. I love the friendliness. I love the fact that I can walk around Old Town and just have strangers say hi to me. So personally, I really fit in Fort Collins kind of with that atmosphere. The next thing was function. For me, it was really big to be able to actually have a program and have a degree that I was passionate about. And for me, I knew that I wanted to do engineering, and CSU's engineering school is phenomenal, particularly the fact that it has a biomedical engineering program was really crucial for me when I was applying. So that's the function aspect. I saw myself fitting in, I saw the program that I wanted to do, and the last was fun. And Fort Collins is just an awesome town where you get a great diversity of responsibilities in handling your business. And there's also fun, and lots of outdoorsy fun, and concerts, and free stuff. So it's just the perfect town. And those were kind of the three main things that I was looking at. And CSU fit those three way better than any other school that I was looking at personally for me. And that's why I've been here for 4 years. So now that you've all got a little bit of a chance to get to know me, we have 4 other students with us today, and we're going to give them all a chance to introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about where they're from, and share their CSU story as well. So we're going to jump over to Lucy and Lauren.
Hey everyone, my name is Lauren. I am a senior originally from Reno, Nevada, so I'm a bit of an out-of-the-state student here. I study business with a concentration in marketing, and I wasn't always that way. I started out as a communications major. For some reason I had something against coming in as an undeclared student, but really the whole time I was confused. I had very little direction, and eventually I settled on business, and it's been a great transition. I like a lot of the classes I'm in and a lot of the resources they offer me, and I'm excited to share more of those as we go on, but a little bit more about my involvements on campus, things that have really led me to where I am today in my senior year, is that I've liked to try a lot of new things, and one of my favorite things about CSU is that there's an opportunity to try something new nearly every single day. I've loved some things I've been involved in, and I've disliked some things I've been involved in. But one of the coolest experiences I've had is going abroad to Thailand, which I just got back from last semester, and it kind of sparked a passion for international experiences and cultures, and so I've been looking for new opportunities on campus to continue that involvement. So I just recently started being a conversation partner with the Into CSU program, which helps international students get to the English proficiency level they need to be at in order to be successful as a CSU student. So that's been a really cool experience working with mostly students from Saudi Arabia. Another cool thing I've gotten to participate in is the Dean Student Leadership Council, and I've gotten a lot of opportunities to be a liaison between students and our dean within the College of Business. I've gotten to present and meet many C-level executives that come here onto campus to make sure our College of Business is on the right track and creating students who are very marketable out there in the workforce. And I also have recently discovered a passion for basically building confident young women. So I learned that through a few different and free retreats that CSU offered students, one of which was Leadership, which was 6 days up at our mountain campus, and another was a social justice retreat that really introduced me to a lot of these topics. So I recently started volunteering for Girls on the Run, which is an international organization, so I'm getting to get out into the Fort Collins community and make an impact there. So that's a little bit about me. I'm excited to talk for the rest of the time as well, but I'll hand it over to Lucy now.
Hi everyone, my name is Lucy. I'm a senior here at CSU studying journalism with an emphasis in public relations, and I also have a fashion merchandising minor. I'm originally from Berthoud, Colorado, so that's just down the road a little bit. And I actually did not originally choose Colorado State. I went to a different institution in Colorado, and I had an awesome experience there, but I found that with what I wanted to do and what I was looking for my future career goals, I wasn't going to be able to find at that institution, and so I knew that transferring was kind of the best route for me. It was the most challenging thing I've ever done, but I've loved every day I've been at Colorado State. I have gotten involved with a lot of different things on campus, just kind of random things here and there, like student media and writing for the newspaper, and a lot of the public relations stuff too, so anything with PRSSA Club and outside internships, things like that. So yeah, that's a bit about my story here at CSU.
Awesome. So let's jump over to Brandon and Catherine.
All right, everyone. So my name is Brandon Bernandez, and I am an international student here at Colorado State University. I come from a very small town in Indonesia called Jambi City. Even some Indonesians don't know about it because it's just too small. But I'm here right now at Colorado State University studying communication studies. I have a minor in business administration. Just to let you know, English is not my first language, so I will pronounce some words tonight in a very interesting way, just to let you know. And it's not your fault, it's probably my fault, but I'll try my best tonight. And a little bit about my CSU story. So I actually had like 2 options in America, and I chose Colorado State University because I have never seen snow before, so I really want to experience like snow and everything. And right now I'm involved in like several different things on campus. The first one, I'm an academic mentor for the Global Village Learning Community. It's basically a learning community for international and domestic students, so we try to integrate both international and domestic students in that learning community. I'm also the president of Council of International Student Affairs, so basically it's just a student leader for like all international students here in campus. And I just want you guys to know that this is a very welcoming campus for international students. I have a great experience here in Colorado State University with I went abroad this summer too, so I do some traveling a little bit, and I also did traveling to Mexico during my spring break. So it's a very good opportunity for you guys who are seeking for like international, like, you know, developments and stuff like that. And now it's your turn.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Hi, everyone. My name is Catherine. I am a junior here at CSU studying Human Development and Family Studies with a pre-occupational therapy track, as well as a gerontology minor. That's the study of old people and aging. I do love me some good old people. They're so cute. That's a little bit about me and my studies here at CSU. I'm from Littleton, Colorado, so not that far. And a couple of things that I'm involved in here at CSU. I'm part of the pre-occupational therapy club, so I get a lot of information from that club about applying to occupational therapy schools, getting shadowing opportunities with that. I'm also part of fraternity and sorority life like Terrence, so that's really fun, and we can talk about that, Terrence, maybe. And just a couple other things I wanted to talk about why I chose CSU, just go on a little bit with what Terrence is saying, is really similar, but I just really love the community here. It's a wonderful place to grow as a person, but also grow as a professional as well. So it's a little bit about me.
Awesome. A little slow with the unmute button. That's my bad, team. So we're going to jump into our first question of the night. Our first question is from Keighley. Did you find it easy to transition from high school to college? I'm going to quickly touch on this question, and then I want to hear all of your responses as well. I'm only speaking from my personal experience right now, but it was a very interesting transition. There was parts of it that were easy. There was parts of it that were hard. It was hard to adjust to having classes where I went to a high school where they really tried to, I don't want to say hold your hand, but teachers were really on top of you. When you come to college, that's not the case. Your teachers don't check in and remind you multiple times of homework assignments. They don't check in to make sure that you're going to come the day of the quiz. So there's just a lot more personal accountability that you have to have as a college student, and that's something that you kind of have to grow into. It's also something that I've enjoyed. So the transition was semi-difficult, but it was so fun, so it kind of made up for it in that way. One of you want to handle this question?
We'll take it for a moment. Certainly coming from the out-of-state perspective, one of the biggest parts about my transition was the fact that I was moving away from my family and I didn't know a single soul at Colorado State. But that was very easy to transition to once I got here. They do an incredible job at all different levels within this university. So first, the minute you walk onto campus, within 5 minutes I had fraternity and sorority life, come into my car, grab my stuff. I was able to get all my stuff into my residence hall within 2 trips, which is pretty incredible. They had this whole 4-day event where they put on these fun events for first-year students, transfer students, where you're able to meet tons of people, get to know people in your college, and also they even show you around to your classes because campus is much larger than a typical high school. So for me, it was awesome because I just felt like there was all this support here, and one of the most impactful stories for me was about my resident assistant, Allie, who every hall has an RA, is what we call them. And I was basically borderline crying on the first Saturday before school started because I was alone in my residence hall, and my RA came and sat with me for a good 15-20 minutes and talked with me about what I was experiencing was completely normal and that maybe I won't meet my best friends in the first 3 days. And that made a huge difference for me, just feeling like I was supported in that moment. And about 5 minutes after she left, a couple of the guys on my floor walked by and they're like, hey, you want to come hang out with a bunch of people on our floor? I was like, yeah, I do. And to this day, those people are still some of my closest friends 3 years later. So my transition was very assisted, and I at no point felt like I didn't have a community here at CSU.
One for mine too, it was a little bit different because I had to transition twice out of an experience that felt very homey and kind of break out of that twice. So I found that when I came to CSU, it was challenging to kind of break into those friend groups and find where I fit, but as soon as I got involved, I found that everybody was super welcoming and they wanted to know about me and my story and why I chose CSU and how my transfer experience could only help me in my Colorado State experience.
Cool. Is it all right if we move on to the next one, Catherine and Roman?
Yep, go
Cool.
for it.
I like this next one. So it's a 2-part question. First part, what are some of your favorite CSU traditions? Second part, does CSU fulfill your vision of the college experience? And this question is from Julie. So first part of the question, my personal favorite CSU tradition that we have is one that I just think is so funny and just is testament to our school. But every year, before we play our main rivals football team, our university grills their mascot and provides them in burgers to the students for free. I think that that's super funny. We call it Grill the Buffs. Our main rivals are the Buffaloes. So the university provides Buffalo burgers for the students, and I think it's just testament to how it's just all in good fun, bringing the students together and kind of just living that up. So that's one of the traditions that I really love. And CSU has beyond fulfilled my vision of the college experience. That's a really hard question because partially when I was coming into college as an 18-year-old, I wasn't sure what my college experience was even going to be. But I can tell you with confidence that CSU has far surpassed that. CSU is really one of the coolest lessons that I've gotten out of CSU is the lesson that everything's going to be awesome. Because I came here without very much expectation of what was going to happen, and it's been the best aspect of my life, and that's been a really cool lesson for me. So, does someone else want to handle this now?
Yeah, I could take that, Terrence. So, start with the first part of that question. One of my favorite traditions was the one Terrence hit on as well. But I also really love Hike to the A. And what Lauren was talking about, that first weekend that you're here, you had that opportunity to hike to the top of the A, which is a big A painted on one of the foothills. It's right above our stadium. So Hughes Stadium is right below that, and you go out there, you hike to the top of it, you throw out a rock, and it's really fun, and it's a good time. And I met one of my really good friends that first weekend by doing that hike today. It was really funny. I was like hiking up, I was so out of breath, and this girl just comes up to me. She's like, "Oh, are you an out-of-state student too?" And I'm like, "No, I just don't work out that much." But we bonded over that. We were both huffing and puffing. She was from California, so she had reason to be huffing and puffing, but I just don't work out that much. But so that's one of my fondest memories, and that's one of my favorite traditions. But to answer that second part of that question, is CSU fulfilling my experience, my idea of what college is? And I would say yes. When I was looking at colleges, I really kind of wanted that full package. I wanted the cool college town where you have a lot of fun places to go out and eat, have fun events to go to, but still have a great university where you can get an awesome education. We have Horsetooth in our backyard as well. So, I mean, everything that I was looking for in a college experience, I feel like CSU really fulfills that, as well as Fort Collins. It does a wonderful job of really making sure that you can do everything within a mile of campus. So it's really nice to have that.
And yeah, I also have like something to add to that. Like the first question, you guys took mine. So Real Bows and Hike to the A is definitely also like my favorite. But to answer the second questions, I had that expectation to come to like America. You know what I mean? Like coming from like a different country, like 26 hours away, and you just had like everything, you know, like you picture like everything in your mind, and then when you come to like Fort Collins, like it's a mountain town. It's like a town like every single like animation movie like that you can find. So for me, definitely yes, because living in Fort Collins is just like a great town like to live in. Like you'll feel like you live in America. It's not just like skyscrapers and stuff like that. So definitely that's my answer to that question. And
Okay, sorry, I was prepping the next question. So, in one word, what is the atmosphere on campus like? And then in some more words, what do students do? So I'll touch on it real quickly. Word I would use is chill. Because, I mean, students do all kinds of different things, and that's one of the things that I think is really cool about CSU is you have a high population of students and a high diversity of interests. So if you're someone who wants to go watch movies with your weekend, go do that. If you want to go hike, you can go do that. If you want to watch concerts, you can do that. If you don't want to do anything, you can do that. If you just want to whoop your roommate in FIFA like I like doing, you can do that. So there's all kinds of different things that students do, and that's one of the things that I love about CSU is no matter what your interests are, you'll be able to find other people who enjoy that as well. So I'm going to send it over to you, Lucy and Lauren, okay? What is the atmosphere on campus like in one word, and then what do students do?
It's a tough question for sure, because one word, man, I have a hard time with that. I would say warm. Just in the way I feel like I sit in the, okay, that's one word, but just sitting on the plaza, you can watch so many different people go by, but you'll always see someone you know. So that's my reason for saying warm. As far as what students do on campus, it's like everything. Students do anything you can imagine, whether it's going and playing Quidditch without the flying brooms, or going on extreme hikes that up to what we call 14ers, which are mountains 14,000 feet or higher. I really think that you have every opportunity to experience anything new that you want to do here because of the variety of students and the size of our university.
I would say happy. I think everybody's really happy to be here and happy to be learning too and exploring and expanding their minds and getting to know a lot of different things in their major. And students a lot on campus, I think they sleep a lot and eat a lot. we do a lot of just regular fun things that anybody does.
All right. Thank you very much, Lucy and Lauren. So, next question. How did the community of students and faculty welcome you when you started freshman year? So, real quickly, I'm going to just talk about one of the main ways that the university actually welcomes us that's it's semi-apart from students and faculty, but it entirely incorporates them. And we have this program called Ram Welcome. So basically, the first 4 days, when you come on campus, it kind of starts before classes start, so you have some time to get adjusted. But you have, Lauren was kind of mentioning this a little bit earlier, but you have a Ram Welcome leader who's an upperclassman who's kind of been through the ropes, kind of has been around the block once or twice, who can kind of help you navigate different things. You get pretty close to your resident assistant right away, which is someone who lives on your floor with you all year. But just that feeling of being in Moby Arena, which is our on-campus basketball arena, during Ram Welcome with all these other students who are going to begin their Ram journey at the same time as you, it really sets the tone. So who else would like to touch on how did the community of students and faculty welcome you when you started? I'm sending it over to you, Catherine and Brandon.
All right. So like Terrence was saying, Ram Welcome is really awesome. It's a really great experience when you're first here on campus because I think everyone's kind of in that same boat that first weekend and you're just kind of like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to hang out, who to hang out with, who am I going to meet? But Ram Welcome is really that time where they just get you all together and you get to meet a lot of people. But when I was first here on campus, my first weekend, I was part of a Key community, which is a learning community here on campus. So during that first weekend, I got to meet a couple of my professors, and they were so welcoming. They're like, hey, just want to let you know, I'll be teaching your classes this year. This is what we'll be going over. I just want to put a face to the name and get to know you all. So I really had a cool opportunity to meet a lot of my professors and get to know them that first weekend. So that was really beneficial for me.
Yeah, and for me, like, the atmosphere of the university is just awesome. And, you know, like, the first time you came to a different country, like, with different atmosphere, people speak different languages, I just feel like that's a very warm welcome to me. I was just like, God, this is like a whole new world for me. And I, like, probably like similar to Catherine, I was also like a part of the Gobble Village learning community. So basically, the university, I mean, like, the community is very welcoming there. And then we also have the professors here are very welcoming too. They always have like office hours and stuff. I go to office hours of my professor and we play chess together. So that's kind of fun. And then I feel like it's a very helpful like transition for you when your professor is really welcoming. So yeah.
Awesome answer. So next question, Lauren, how long are you required to live on campus?
Oh yeah, so you're required to live on campus for 1 year. You can live on longer if you'd like. We've got halls for second-year students. We've got special halls for transfer students. So you really have an opportunity to continue living on campus or even being an RA, like I explained earlier. One of the big things, the big reason we do this is so that it's that initial feeling of community. Like I explained earlier with me being an out-of-state student, not knowing a single person, living on campus made all the difference because I could walk around the hall and knock on 20 different doors and talk with 40 new people, and that's kind of the whole feeling of your first year on campus when you're living on there.
Cool. Lauren, I have another one that I want you to touch on, and then we can all touch on this one because it's a pretty big question as far as the answer goes. But what outdoor opportunities are around CSU?
Where do I begin? Man, there are so many opportunities, and I think the best part about that is that it's close. There are opportunities that are nearby, and there are opportunities that are far, far away. And I always liked the outdoors, but I was like, it wasn't until I got here that I was like, oh my gosh, there's all this outdoor recreation, and there's all these people who will do it with me. So some of those opportunities are hiking, of course. The 14ers I mentioned, there's 54 of them in the state of Colorado. In addition to that, you can go skiing at one of tons of different resorts, or if you're really into it, backcountry skiing is a thing here too. Rock climbing also, we've got an awesome rock wall in our rec center, but you go about 15 minutes to Horsetooth Reservoir and you can do it outside. The cool thing is we have this outdoor programs office on campus that will also take you out, teach you how to rock climb. I'm taking that this Saturday, an example of trying something new every day. I've never rock climbed outside. We also have the reservoir, Horsetooth Reservoir, again, 15 minutes away, so people are in there paddle boarding, swimming, taking out boats, and wakeboarding. So there's basically anything outdoorsy you want to do. Many more I couldn't even touch on right now. You can do that here in Colorado and in Fort Collins specifically.
Yeah, and two of my other favorites that I want to quickly plug, because there's so many, and Lauren mentioned a lot of them, but two that I enjoy. One, we have the Poudre Canyon that runs through Fort Collins. I love that. I love to inner tube down it, just lay in the river, have the sun beating down on me, getting beat up by rocks because it's not that high, but it's a lot of fun. Another thing that I really enjoy is Rocky Mountain National Park. If any of you have seen The Shining, it was filmed up there in Estes Park. I've lived in Colorado all my life. I've been hiking so many times. I've been outdoors a lot. I've never seen so many wild animals in one place as in Estes Park. It's awesome, and that's right in our backyard here at CSU. So we're going to move on to another question. Do you take classes in your major your first 2 years of school? I'll touch on my experience real quickly. I'm majoring in engineering, and they want you to take classes in your major right out the gate for engineering. Engineering is one of those majors that you got to get the ball rolling pretty quickly to get out quickly and get out in that 4 years. But it depends. So I would really love to have each one of us quickly touch on this question. Okay? Cool.
All right. So I'm a human development and family studies major, and my first semester I was already taking classes for human development and family studies, and I have taken a human development and family studies course every semester since I've been here at CSU. So that's just how I have experienced it. For me, Brandon was a little bit different.
Yeah, because I came here as an undeclared student, so mostly I just take like general courses that the curriculum requires me to take, and then I take some of my communication studies because I'm a communication studies major again. I take most of the classes my junior and senior year, so the first 2 semesters here is kind of just general courses.
So as a journalism major, they make you an undeclared student first seeking journalism, and you take a couple of prerequisites and courses to make sure you actually want to be in that major. And so once you've completed those courses, your first and second years, then you're actually in the program. And so, yeah, you do definitely take classes.
On that note, I was also a journalism major when I started out, and taking the news writing class that was required made me realize this is not the right major for me. As far as the business school goes, they really want you to have a well-rounded idea of business, so you will be taking classes in accounting, finance, marketing, supply chain, the list goes on, before you really dive in specifically into your concentration, such as marketing for myself.
Struggling with the unmute again. Thank you, Lauren. Okay, so, and Brandon, and Catherine, and Lucy, and everyone. Okay, on to the next question. So the question is from Sarah. She wants to know, what is the biggest class you have ever had? So I want us each to touch quickly on what's the biggest class we've ever had, what class was it, and what is class usually like now? How does that work, okay? Cool, so I'll start us off. Biggest class that I had was probably Psychology 100. My sophomore year. That was like 250 students, which was pretty big. I came from a graduating class of 88 seniors, so that was a pretty big class for me to be in. But typically, I take class with 50 students. I take class with the same chemical engineers, and that's kind of just the nature of my major, but that's something that I've really enjoyed. Is now I'm even into classes that are 13 people, and I know all of these people first and last name, which is something that I personally really enjoy. So I have had some semi-big classes, but as I've gotten into the harder stuff, it's really shrunk down a lot. So I'd love to hear y'all's opinion real quickly.
We'll jump in. Go ahead.
The largest class that I had was probably oceanography. It was maybe just below 300. But classes now range anywhere from about 13 to 17 or so. And like Terrence was saying, I know all these students, and we get to know each other really well and do really well with like group projects and all that stuff.
Yeah, I would say my largest class was also around 300 people. On that note, that professor went up to the very back of the classroom and was asking those students questions and getting them engaged. So he did a really good job at still making it something other than just talking at us. So that was cool. As far as my average class goes now, because of my major change, I haven't been able to get to my most specific concentration classes quite yet, but my classes are between, I'd say I counted in actually a few of them, and they're all about 40 students, and that will continue to shrink down as I specialize more next semester and the semester after, because I'm graduating in 4.5 years.
All right. So the largest classes that I've ever had is around like 300 people. So it was the Music 100 class, but it was still very fun. It was a very great experience for me because the assignments is you have to go to the concert and write about the concert. So I feel like that's a very great class for me. And then classes that I take right now ranges from like 25 to like 40 people because I'm in like upper level classes right now. But yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually in my largest person class right now. It's human physiology. A lot of people have to take that course over a lot of different concentrations and a lot of different places across campus, so a lot of people take it. But one of the ways that they combat that classroom size is that they offer a ton of recitation hours, office hours, opportunities where you can go talk to the professor, talk to graduate students who help make the exams. So you're not going to be lost in that sea if you really do go and put yourself out there and try to talk to people and get some help if you are falling behind. Because sometimes you may get lost in that large class, but if you put in the effort and you really try and get out there, you will not fall behind, if that makes sense. But right now for my major courses, they're around 40 people, so it's still a very good classroom size.
Sweet. Thank you all for sharing. So our next question is another two-part question. First, does CSU feel really competitive? Second, if you could do it all over again, would you pick CSU? And this question is coming to us from Monica. First, does CSU feel really competitive? Again, it's different for different experiences, but I'm going to go out and say no. One of the things that I really love about CSU, particularly what I go through in my major, is when people are really struggling working on a chemical engineering homework, whether it's thermodynamics or process simulation or something crazy, the class will band together and help one another out rather than just allowing someone to fail. The class really does come together. So less competition, more collaboration. And that's one of the things that I really love about CSU. I mean, if I could do it all over again, I'd pick CSU in a heartbeat. That's a no-brainer. So, Brandon, can you answer this question?
Yeah, so for the first question, I would say no too. Just because in communication studies we have like a lot of like working in a group situation. So again, just like Terrence said, I feel like it's more like collaboration instead of like competition, and I do like that. You know, like you make friends that way. And then for the second question, what was the question?
If you could choose CSU again, would you do it?
Oh, definitely yes, because yeah, I'm sorry. So I almost transferred actually my sophomore year because I felt like, oh, CSU is not my place, and then but I give it a time, and then I just love it, and then I'm doing bachelor's right now just because I love this place. And if I transfer at a time, I think I will regret, just because I have a great experience in this university. So I'll definitely pick CSU again if I have to start it all over again.
Hey, Terrence, can I add something there?
Absolutely.
Cool. So I kind of interpreted the question slightly different, so I wanted to give the answer. When you ask, is it competitive, I kind of take that as like, if you have a degree from CSU, are you seen as a competitive applicant in the real world? And I think absolutely. I've had so many opportunities. We have a lot of resources here that help you transition from college to the real world, and that's from the Career Center bringing on tons of career fairs. Like within the last 2 weeks, we've had a number of different businesses here looking to recruit CSU students, and so I think they see us and they see that we are quality students and quality candidates for certain jobs. And then when it comes to CSU, and if I could choose it again, I just want to know if I can stay longer.
Isn't that all of our question? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting a little cheesy. All right, Lauren's enjoying it, though. So the next question that we have is coming from Whitney. How do I apply for a competitive major like biomedical sciences? So a couple things to do. First, you're going to want to apply by December 1st. That's our early action deadline. One thing about that is it's not binding. So you can apply early action and still look at other schools and think about other options and not like be bound to Colorado State University. So that's one thing that's good to know. But you need to apply by December 1st. When you're going through the application process, you'll have an opportunity to declare a major on your application. If you want to go into biomedical sciences, make sure that you declare that on that application, and you will be fit into that. Real quickly, just while we're on this train of thought, I just want to hit y'all with a couple freshman application deadlines that I just think will be helpful for anyone that's kind of viewing this. So that first one I mentioned, our early action deadline is December 1st. If you apply by December 1st, you will receive a decision by December 31st. So that's pretty cool. Our other deadline for full scholarship consideration, which is really important, is February 1st. And you will have a decision by February 28th. These are for freshmen. If you're a transfer student, for the spring, apply by November 1st. For the fall, apply by February 1st for full scholarship consideration, and you still have up until June 1st to apply for regular decision if you are a transfer student. Okay, sweet. Let's jump into another question. Okay, what type of classes do you take if you want to be a journalist? This is coming from Patricia, and this question is going to you, Lucy.
You take all kinds of different classes. If you want to be a journalist specifically, you'll take classes like news writing or feature writing and reporting and sports reporting, things like that. But there's also the media side, and you can do public relations and media relations, and then anything from sports broadcasting, TV, anything TV news. I know a bunch of people are specializing in that. It's kind of a wide range, and it's really cool because in the journalism program you get to pick kind of which route you want to take. And so since I am doing the more public relations side, I've taken a lot of introductory courses to public relations, but then I can also take those things like magazine writing and layout design and learn kind of a well-rounded kind of thing and have all these skills so that you're a really well-rounded journalist and you have a ton of different abilities.
What about writing for the newspaper?
So CSU's student media, they have the student newspaper, student radio, and the student TV, KCSU and CTV, I believe. And so with those, I've been able to get involved and write for the Collegian, is what it's called, and kind of pick and choose what articles I want to write. But then students can also get on live air and be a DJ and choose the time and the songs and take requests and have talk shows. So that's really awesome. And then with CTV, students do the weather, they do general reports about what's going on campus, and can get that real experience of what it's like to be behind the camera, what it's like to be behind, the pencil and the writing and the taking notes, and the DJ side, and apply that post-major. So.
Awesome. Good job, Lucy. Thank you for handling that for us. This next question that we have is from Jesse. He wants to know, or she, let me check myself. I'm sorry, Jesse. But Jesse would like to know, What is the mountain campus like? I'll quickly speak to this because I've been there a couple times. I went there once during the summer before I came up here as a student, and then I also attended a retreat up there during the fall. That was probably my favorite. The CSU mountain campus has just tons of aspens. I saw 2 massive mooses. I don't know. I'm an engineer, not a linguist, but that was really cool to me. As you've maybe picked up, I appreciate that nature, so it was really cool to have that up there. I really like the fact that they have kind of a mess hall up there, so you can be up there in the mountains and still kind of go into a dining hall and still get that awesome food, see how CSU probably would have done it like 40, 50 years ago. I don't know. It's kind of a little blast in the past when you're up there. They have a high ropes course and a low ropes course, so they have like a high ropes course where you can walk on a tightrope super high up and kind of wrestle with that fear. They have one where you stand up on a massive pole and you have to jump to like a monkey bar. That's a scary one. That's another one that'll test you. And then they have a low ropes course that's designed to build teamwork. So I'm kind of going on and on, giving you all of the functionalities of the mountain campus. But it's awesome. And I think it's really cool that we have that just as a resource to use. If you're a student in the Warner College of Natural Resources, before you graduate, it's guaranteed you'll spend a weekend or a few up there taking classes, studying the trees, doing all kinds of different things. So our mountain campus is pretty cool. Does anyone want to add anything real quickly? No? Okay, we'll jump right into the next one. And I'm not answering this. I've been talking for too long. What was your dorm room experience like? Catherine?
All right, I'll take this one. I had a really great dorm experience. Living in my resident hall is probably one of my most fondest memories here at CSU. I'm going to talk about the roommate situation first because I know some people are really nervous about that. It's totally fine to be nervous about that. I decided to do random roommate, and first day, Brandon, you're going to pretend to be my roommate freshman year. I go in, and I'm like, hey, Caitlin.
Hi.
Hey, well, Caitlin, I wanted to tell you something. I made you a craft. And Caitlin goes, no way, I made you a craft. So from there, I knew that we were going to be best buddies, and it was super awesome. And I really encourage you, if you want to get out of your comfort zone, to try Random Roommate. And from there, we just made a really great experience with the people on our hall. I lived in, like I said earlier, a residential learning community. So we all took biology together and chemistry together that first year. And so not only did I form a community of just friends, but I also formed a community of academic friends. So we all helped each other through classes and courses, and it was just a really fun time, and we always got dinner together every Sunday night as a hall with our resident assistants. So that was just a really fun way that we formed communities. We also did intramural sports together. We had a dodgeball team. So I really loved living on campus my freshman year in the resident halls. So yeah.
All right, for me, my dorm experience is also good just because I'm a big soccer fan. We call it soccer here. It's actually football. But I'm a very big football fan, and my roommate at that time, he was from Oman, and then he also liked football. I mean, we supported different team, and that's totally fine. We watched the game together like every weekend, and it feels so good just because someone that is like very similar to you and stuff like that. And the dorm is very awesome too. We always have like this spontaneous like hallway hangout. Sometimes we just do guitar like jamming together and stuff like that. So it was a very great experience for me. And yeah.
All right, sweet. So real quickly, we're getting a lot of questions about scholarships and cost and different things like that, and that is important, but we really want to talk about kind of our experience as students. So for that information about scholarships and costs, we encourage you to visit sfs.colostate.edu. And there you can find all of your cost information, all of your scholarship information. You can also find your counselor, and that's a really good resource for you to have kind of a point in the office who kind of looks at your application and can answer any different questions that you have. So let's jump right into the next question. How do you go about joining clubs and organizations? What does that first month look like on campus? So It's pretty awesome, especially that first month, because we have a couple areas of campus where we have our area called the Plaza, which has a ton of students just going through it every different way, every different day. And on that area of campus, during the first couple weeks, we have an involvement fair where student organizations are encouraged to come out and just talk about what they do. So we have service organizations recruiting. You have just social organizations like the juggling club or different things like that out there trying to recruit for their membership. Also, in those first couple weeks is where you see formal recruitment for sororities and fraternities. Sororities is a lot more formalized. Fraternities is a little bit more laid back, but both of those begin those first couple weeks. You'll start seeing people in their letters in the plaza doing all that different stuff. But the first month is really exciting on campus because a lot of these organizations are out on campus trying to get you to see them and trying to make it easy for you to join them. All of our student organizations on campus are registered through our Slice office. So if you're just curious, just trying to see what kind of student organizations we have, that is a cool way to see that, is through the Slice office. Does anyone else want to quickly touch on their experience joining clubs in that kind of first month? Cool.
Yeah, I can answer these questions, that's what I mean. But yeah, actually the first time I came here, I was looking for like people that are similar to me, which in a sense Indonesians, but there were just like 5 Indonesians here, and then we started our own organization, and then that's possible in CSU, and it's very easy. The process is very easy. So if you have like something in common with like some people, you can just start your own organizations, and the process is very easy. And Slice office, we do have like a involvement office here on campus called Slice, and they will help you like step by step to like create your own student organization. So
I'm just going to add something really quick. So I was a Spring Start student, and I found that that first month was a little bit different than what the traditional first month looks like. And I found that I could get involved. Colorado State is like really good at informing their students and letting them know what's going on around campus and what they have to offer. And so just by CSU's emails about what's going on, I was able to find the student job listings and see that the Orientation and Transition Programs office was hiring, and there's different offices around campus that were hiring, and that's kind of how I found my way of getting involved, was through different offices on campus. And so mine looked a little bit different, but it still went really well.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucy. So the next question is from Amber. How many clubs can a full-time student handle? This question is a little bit tricky because it really depends on the individual, on what they're studying, and what full-time means. It depends on if you're working or not, if you have those responsibilities to handle. It matters what your responsibility is in the club. There's a huge difference in time between me being a general member of my fraternity and me being the chapter president. I could probably be in 6 other organizations, but because I'm head of one of those, it takes a lot more time. But if I just had to give you a number of how many clubs a full-time student can handle, I would give it at like 2 to 3 before you're starting to drop the ball in some of your other ones. I think 2 to 3 is a fair way to actually give all of yourself to that student organization or to that club. This is just my opinion, though. Does anyone else feel differently about the subject? I'm getting a lot of head nods. I don't know if y'all can see that. So cool. We're going to jump into the next question. How do you use your time timely? And this question's from Jennifer. I'm going to avoid this question. I'll come back to it after y'all. Catherine, you're a timely person. Will you handle this?
I'll try my best, Aaron. See, I still struggle with time management. I think a lot of us here will definitely agree that we have issues sometime with time management. But one of my first things I did here at CSU, I had an opportunity to go to a time management workshop put on by TILT, which is the Institute for Learning and Teaching. And it was a free little clinic, and they passed out these papers, and I still keep them. And it was basically a schedule for every single day, and it was like blocked out by the hour. So what I do is I put in my class schedule, I put in my work schedule, I put in my other obligations that I have outside of school and work, and I put in meeting times. So the way I kind of go about things is I like kind of plan out my schedule, usually starting on Sunday, and I plan out my week. So I see what I have to do, what I need to get done, when assignments are due, and that's kind of how I go about gauging my week. I like find times where I can try and put in working out. Let's be honest, working out usually turns into a nap, but if I have that free time. But so that's usually how I block my schedule out. Does anyone do anything different?
Yeah. For me, I just use technology because it's 2015 and we do have this thing called technology. So I just download an app. It's called the Calm. I'm not trying to like promote anything. I'm not trying to like advertise anything, but yeah, it's a very cool application. So I feel like I just put all my schedules there, and then I just put like all my assignments, like due dates and stuff like that. And then they always remind me like 30 minutes before my meeting. So it's gonna be like, hey, you have like a tour today, like 30 minutes before the tour. So it's very helpful in that sense because I do have like a lot of things going on in my life. I have like 18 credits, 2 jobs, 2 involvements. So technology really helps.
Yeah, awesome. Y'all handled that beautifully. Thank you. Our next question is, what is the weather like in Colorado? And is CSU worth it? So 2 pretty different questions. First, and this question's coming to us from Jen. So first, what is the weather like in Colorado? Particularly here in Fort Collins, we have 300 days of sunshine. And that includes this thing called partial days, where if it's only sunny for half the day, they'll count that as a half day. And they kind of sum up all of those, and at the end of the year, you have 300 days of sunshine. Those partial days are a very real common thing, though. There's days where you'll go to class, maybe it's a little bit more chilly, maybe it's even a little bit snowy outside, but when you get out of class, it's like spring break, it's sunny, it's beautiful, you're totally misdressed for the rest of your day, but that's a good problem to have. So I think the weather is beautiful out here. It's not too hot. It doesn't get too cold. One of the things that I like about as far as the winter is it snows, but it doesn't snow in October and stick around until March. Nothing wrong with that, my Midwesterners. But I like kind of having, you know, some variation in the seasons within the season. So I love the weather that we have here. And second part of that question, is CSU worth it? Short answer, yes. Your college education is an investment that you're making in yourself, and CSU is definitely worth it. One of the things that I really appreciate about it is not only do I feel like I'm being trained to be a very strong engineer, both in my chemical background and my biomedical background, but I'm happy with the person that I'm becoming through being at CSU, and that's really powerful. So the combination of those 2 things, I'd say CSU is more than worth it. We're at 6:54, so would y'all mind answering this question, but not taking as long as I did. I'm sorry. All right. Let's go with you, Brandon. What's the weather like? Have you got your snow?
All right. For me, honestly, the first time I came here, it was the first time for me to see the snow, and I was excited. But I'm from a tropical country, and for me, personally, it's a little bit too cold. Just because, you know, you have never experienced snow before, and then yeah, in Indonesia, it doesn't go below like 65, and then here it's sometimes like too extreme for me in terms of like the cold. But during the summer, I love it. So that's for me.
Is that you not wanting to answer it, Catherine? Okay, cool. Let me hear you on it real quickly, Lauren, because you're also coming from somewhere a little bit warm. And I guess I should mention this. I'm a native of Colorado, so I've been experiencing this weather for all of my life. So.
Yeah, I would say, well, where I grew up in Reno, it's high desert, so it's somewhat similar, but I like the variance in the weather, but I need sunshine. Like, I can't handle too much rain. We get rain, but it's not like multiple days in a row. That really gets to my mood. So I love the weather, and I'd rather answer the question of, is it worth it? And it's more than worth it. It's given me so much more than an incredible education, but it's given me passions and aspirations and community and connections and networks, and I could go on, but truly CSU has something magical about it. As cheesy as it is, I kind of feel like it's this hidden treasure, and so I think it's absolutely worth it, and I'd love for you all to just come and take a tour and experience a little taste of it for yourself. Do you want to add anything?
You nailed it.
Cool. So we're going to jump into this next question. Is it hard being away from your families? And we can all quickly touch on this. I'm away from my family, but only by about an hour, so I'm actually going to go down and see them this weekend. But it can be hard sometimes not being by them. But one thing that I want to quickly kind of say is something that my dad always tells me that kind of gives me a little bit of strength when I'm feeling really lonely. But my dad always reminds me that I'm not only going to college for myself. I'm going for him. I'm going for my grandpa. I'm going for my sister and for my brother, and I'm really representing for all of them. So when I'm really missing them, that can sometimes give me a little bit extra motivation to, spend a little bit extra time working on some homework, actually spend a little bit more time going to office hours. But no doubt that can be hard, especially depending on, how emotional you are. I'm a mama's boy. I love my siblings, so it can be hard on me sometimes. But college is also a wonderful time. So it kind of makes up for it and kind of fills in those gaps. And, you build really strong relationships up here, and none of those ever replace the relationships that you have with your family, but you do get really close to some people up here. So, cool. Someone else want to handle this?
I'll take over. I am really, really close with my family. Unfortunately, I am about an hour, 20 minutes from home, so I do get the opportunity to go home every once in a while. But when I am here up at school, I definitely do call my mom a lot. But I think that's really nice in our day and age that we have such technology like FaceTiming, Skype, phones to call them when we need to. So I always get the opportunity. My mom, whenever I FaceTime, she always shows my dog because I miss my dog so much. That's probably the hardest thing for me is I miss my dog. But I think, like Terrence was saying, you just make a lot of really wonderful connections here at CSU that you get that opportunity to form those really great people, and they have your back. And I always know that when I'm getting sad, I have a friend there to always talk to me and make me feel more comfortable here. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah. For my situation, it's a little different because I'm like 35 hours away and we have like 13 hours time difference. So it's even sometimes hard for me to figure out what time is it in Indonesia. But again, like technology really helps. And I do talk to my sisters and my dad through like FaceTime and everything like that. But definitely, like Terrence said, just remember like why you are here. You are here for your family, basically, especially me personally. The reason why I go to college, why should I fly like 26 hours away if not for education, if it's not like for my family back home. So that's definitely helpful too. But yeah.
Cool. So I'm gonna introduce the last question, and I want all four of us to touch on this one because I do think it's a really relevant question for our prospective students. The question is, what advice would you give to a current high school senior looking at schools? That's tricky because everyone has different things that they're looking for in schools. Everyone has their own kind of personalities. But the advice that I would give to you is it's less on like the school specific and more on yourself. I think it's really important that you take some time to really think about what you want and what's important to you. I think sometimes you get caught up just in like, what's the major, what's the school, what's the name, what's the mascot, what's the football team like, and you can get caught up in what is actually important to you as an individual. How do you like spending your time? What do you like being surrounded by? What are you going to spend most of your time doing? Is that university actually going to fit within kind of what you're looking for? So definitely consider that. And this is something that it's taken me a long time to learn, but ask for help. College counselors really do want to help you and kind of help narrow down different things. If you know anyone that goes to the school, they're great resources just to ask them like, hey, what is it actually like? Because current students are really going to give you the real slice. So that's my advice: is look inward, ask for help, talk to people. That was a lot. I'm sorry. Let's just go down the line. Brandon, Catherine, Lauren, Lucy.
Should we go?
Yeah.
All right. So I just want to touch really quickly. For me, when I was looking at colleges, the best advice I was told was find somewhere that you feel most comfortable and where you can be yourself. So again, I guess it's going on with what Terrence said. You have to look inwards, see just, I don't know, I get the feels when I come on this campus. So CSU definitely makes me feel comfortable, and that's why I chose to be at this university.
All right, my advice will be from like the international students' perspective. I know like a lot of international students around the world just look at the ranking, but I want to give you advice like look at everything, like the city that you live in, and then like the experience that you'll get and everything. It's just more than just like a ranking that you see like in the website and stuff like that. So definitely talk to like the current students and stuff like that. You know, like the first couple of weeks here is gonna be hard, so you better find like a university that can help you with adjustments and stuff like that. So that's gonna be my advice.
Just want to say it's okay. Don't let ACT, SAT, applications, certain denials from colleges, don't let those get to you, because they're likely to happen. And if you're gonna find the place that you're meant to be, because that university is going to want you. And in addition to that, on a less touchy note, I would say really look at the place you're going as far as the location, the town, because that's where you're beginning your young adult life. That's also where you're going to start your connections. So there could be a higher chance of you working there post-graduation. So just really consider the city. If you don't like the city, then I would encourage just thinking if that is just considering what I just said.
I would say keep your options open, and don't close anything off just because you think you shouldn't go there or because so many people from your high school go there, and just go wherever you feel like makes you feel like it's home and that it fits you.
Yeah. Whew. Sweet. All right. Thank you all for that. Those were some great little nuggets of wisdom. So this is the saddest part of the night. This is where we have to say goodbye. So I'd like to take this opportunity and thank everyone for tuning in. As a reminder, you'll be able to rewatch this video anytime on YouTube. If you submitted a question and we were unable to answer it on the air, our office will do our best to follow up with you within the next few days. We look forward to seeing your applications, and we know that the Office of Admissions is here to help you throughout the process. Have a great night, and go Rams! Thank you for spending time with us.
Go Rams! We're off.
Stop.